everybody for joining us today. We have Miss Alyssa Redding here with us. I'm not going to say much about her. That's what we do. We just have them just say a lot of things about themselves, about their stories, about who they are, and the important things to them. So we get to hear from the source. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Miss Alyssa Redding. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So a little bit about me. My name's Alyssa Redding, as you said. I moved to the area in 2016. Prior to that, I was living in Bethlehem, which is where I'm born and raised.
Okay.
Came here through a work opportunity and honestly thought I would be here for maybe 2 years.
Okay.
And here we are almost 10 years later. So my now husband and I were dating long distance when I moved here. I was in Exeter. He was in Washington, D.C. And then he moved a little bit closer to Philadelphia.
Okay.
And then finally made the move up to here. And we have since lived in West Reading and now live in Wyomissing and have made this our home. So we have an 8-month-old little boy, which has been amazing. And then, you know, in terms of work, I am a relationship manager with JP Morgan. And then in terms of volunteer and hobbies, so on the volunteer side, I am part of the Junior League of Reading.
Okay.
I actually just finished it up being president. So it was interesting being president and having a baby in the same year. So we can talk more about that later.
Okay.
And then I also am on the Women to Women Council through the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance.
Awesome. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So let's just...
I just threw it all out on the table.
That's awesome because now we know where to go. Okay, so let's start with you. So you said that you were raised in Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
You were born there.
I was born there,
Okay.
yes.
So what did you go to schools there, I imagine?
Yep.
And, what can you tell me how your upbringing was? Like
Sure.
when you were growing up, did you play any sports? Did you have anything that you would do in the summertime?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I grew up in a little borough of Bethlehem called Fountain Hill.
Okay.
It honestly reminds me a lot of Wyomissing. Just small community, everybody kind of knows each other. Safe community. Where I lived, I could walk to the park and the pool, and I feel like kind of similar vibes with where we're living now. But so I grew up. My parents were divorced. They got divorced when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
So, but I had an amazing upbringing. My parents always put my sister and me first. So my dad worked 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day. And then my mom worked a 9 to 5. So my mom took us to school in the morning and my dad picked us up from school. So we got to see both of our parents pretty much every day. Weekends, you know, was every other weekend with each parent. But, you know, they always just made sure that we had a loving upbringing and put us first, which was awesome.
So there you go.
So in terms of sports and hobbies and stuff, so I played basketball.
Oh, wow.
I would like to say I was pretty good, but since I'm so short, which you can't tell from sitting down, since I was so short, I only played through my sophomore year of high school. And then also in high school, I played field hockey. In elementary, I tried out volleyball for a little bit. That didn't last long. I tried out track and field, which more so I did for like the social aspect of things. So that didn't last very long either. But yeah, basketball and field hockey were kind of my main sports. I did dance for a little bit too, but that didn't last very long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because that means you're adventurous. You tried so many different things.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
tried.
Kind of like, yeah, but that says a lot about you. That's nice. But so okay, so you have one sister.
Yep,
Okay.
I have
She
one
older,
sister.
Younger?
She's 4 years older.
Okay.
Yep,
So
and
you
she
have to
actually
catch up.
Yeah. So yeah, she still lives in Bethlehem.
Okay.
We were very close growing up. I will say, like, it changed as the years went on because 4 years difference when you're young is a big difference.
Absolutely.
So I would say we didn't really become friends per se until she was a senior in high school and I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
I feel like we were like kind of on the same playing field maturity level.
Okay.
And we've been really close ever since. So yeah.
That gives me hope. I
Yeah.
have 2 girls at home, so it's
Okay.
like, yeah.
Okay. And what's their age difference?
It's 2 years.
Okay.
But then still, it's like
It still seems like a big
yeah,
difference.
because the older one, she's in high school now. So the
Okay.
younger one, she's still in middle school.
Yep.
So it's like still not there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know, but thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy to help.
And okay, so you were basically and I'm gonna tell you, I've been to Bethlehem a few times.
Yeah.
I love the town; it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cute.
The downtown is amazing, and I love what they did with the steel plant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah,
like,
Arts
what they did.
Quest and yeah, it's awesome. When I was growing up, none of that was there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And there's so good. It's a restaurant. It's an Italian restaurant right there on Main Street. And it's been there for a while.
Mama Nina's.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's so good.
delicious.
The garlic bread is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
You
and
walk
then-
out of there smelling like garlic. Yeah.
Worth it though.
Yes, 100% worth it.
But it's nice to see like a small town, but then it's like so beautiful, and then they take so good care of it, and then you just want to like call people in. I know that there's a lot of music fests and a lot of people come into the town, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, and I don't know if you celebrate Christmas, but around the holidays, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to check it out for sure.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing it from my locals, so I gotta go.
Yeah, it's the Christmas city.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. So okay, then you went to high school, and so when did you come over to Wyomissing?
yeah, so high school, and then I actually went to college in Bethlehem as well. I went to Lehigh.
Okay.
So didn't go far from home, but I did live on campus. My parents were pretty adamant they wanted me to have the college experience.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
so my freshman year I really like rarely went home.
Okay.
But as time went on, I realized like, oh, it's nice to be able to go home and do my laundry or get a home cooked meal.
Yeah, exactly.
So I enjoyed going home more as time went on. And then right out of school, I got a job in Bethlehem as well. So I graduated with a finance degree.
Okay.
And I worked for Wells Fargo as a financial analyst in commercial banking. So I was in Bethlehem for that for 3 years. And then part of my training program actually involved me going out to San Francisco for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So I was Bethlehem for 3 years, San Francisco for 6 months, and then I knew that after San Francisco, I was moving to the Reading area because there was a position here for me. It was under the same team that I was working under in Bethlehem, but it was managing a portfolio of clients and a relationship manager role, which is what I'm doing now for JP Morgan.
Nice.
So that's what brought me to this area.
That's nice. And why finance?
Honestly, it was like process of elimination. I went in knowing I wanted to do business.
Okay.
Took my first accounting course and absolutely hated it. Marketing, I felt as though I wasn't creative enough.
Okay.
So finance,
I don't
it was.
believe that, though.
Okay,
But
I am not creative.
I'm gonna take your word for it, but
But yeah, so finance it was, and I stuck with it. And even with the finance degree, it was like, I don't know what I want to do with this. And I was just applying to every job that had a job description of a finance degree or had financial analyst in the description. And so I kind of just stumbled upon what I'm doing now, but I absolutely love it.
I love the fact that you said you stumbled upon it because you were looking anything that was finance. So that goes to show that, you basically went after what you wanted and then you made it work.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
That's commendable.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So then you started in that position in the Reading area.
Yep.
And then you grew from there. So what position did you start at?
So it was a relationship manager in commercial banking for Wells Fargo.
Okay.
So we can break that down a little
Yes.
bit. So what that means is, so commercial banking, you are serving clients that are family owned, privately owned businesses primarily. in a geographical territory. So my territory at that point in time is very similar to what mine is now. So Berks, Lebanon, Lancaster, Harrisburg.
Okay.
And clients are typically between 20 million in revenue up to 2 billion in revenue. So any industry, and as a relationship manager, you are really the main point of contact for what your clients need from a banking perspective. So that could be anything from a loan to a bank account, to a credit card, foreign exchange, an interest rate hedge. So I am not the one actually executing all of those things, but I'm the one kind of pulling in the appropriate partners.
The liaison.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then just building relationships with these companies, figuring out what's important to them, what their goals are in terms of being able to grow their business. And I really liked the position because it's a mix of the analytical background that I have in finance, but also the people aspect. So, I mean, people want to do business with people that they like and people that they trust. And so a lot of my job then at Wells Fargo and now at JP Morgan is just getting to know people and talking to people and learning about them and their goals and, you know, from a personal perspective, but also a business perspective, right? Because as a business owner, they're kind of one and the same, you know, like it's intertwined. So it's really, a lot of it is just getting to know people and what they want.
And you said something that is very interesting. It's the fact that, and we have noticed that it goes all around and it's very connected. It's so hard to take the person away from what the profession or what they do in their business. So it's very, very intertwined. So I like that you say, well, when you said, oh, I'm not creative, but then again, you're analyzing people's financials and you're looking at things and you're looking at solutions for that person. So that takes a lot of creativity. But also in that sense, you have dealt with a lot of people. You have met a lot of people. You have met a lot of business owners in different scales and different size businesses. Do you have any, you know, that there's always some type of thing that you do in your career that it's like you wish everybody knew? It's like, if you knew this, it's like, come on, this is the first step. This is basic. And you see that nobody does it. Do you have something like that? Or not really? I could give you a second to think. But it's one of those things that you're like, if everybody did this, they would be so much better off.
That's a hard question.
I know. And you can take your time and think about it. But it's sometimes, and I know it's hard because every business is different. But you see, I bet that you see a lot of common problems.
A
lot of people making the same mistake. It's like, dude, this is very basic. You should do this. What do you think?
I mean, when you put it that way, I think just admit that you made a mistake and move on kind of thing. Like, how are you going to fix it or resolve it and move on? I think admitting, like, I know at least in my role, but I think that this could be, you know, translated across all things, is just own up to the fact that you made a mistake and move on. I think making mistakes is okay. And just, you have to look at it as, how can I grow from this and improve upon this?
I like where you're going with this. You're basically saying making mistakes is normal.
Totally. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah,
and I don't think anybody expects you to be perfect.
But then again, I do. If I own a business, it's because I want the world to see that I'm doing, what needs to be done. I need people to trust me. So do you think that maybe that trust might be affected by those mistakes? Do you think that might be the fear behind it? Because again, doubling down on a mistake is just going to make things worse. And now that you're saying it and you have seen so many different businesses, it makes me think that is a more common problem than most people think.
I mean, I think everybody's human though. So I don't think it's realistic to have that expectation that people aren't going to make mistakes as long as they do right by it.
Okay.
So I think, again, it's like admit that you did something wrong,
Okay.
fix it, and then don't do it again. Like, I think if it's a recurring issue or problem, that's one thing. But if it's a one-time thing and you learn from it, then I think it's okay.
Let me ask you this way.
I know we're speaking in very general terms.
Yeah, and I understand where you're going completely, but I want to put it this way because I don't want you to feel targeted.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay.
No, I don't feel targeted.
Perfect. If you had to remember or think about a mistake that you made that you had to correct or fix, or let's say maybe not you, maybe you helped a friend or the mistake that they made and that they had to fix.
Okay.
How was that process like? Do you think that somebody is open to admitting about a mistake and fixing
I think it depends on the friend.
There you go.
Yeah,
So.
I think it depends on the friend. And I think, that's a lot of what my job is too. Like, it's not, somebody once said to me, there's a science part to it, but it's really an art. So just figuring out people and their reactions.
Okay. So basically you're saying that most of the businesses, it's more of a trial and error. You could have everything on paper, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen that way.
Right. Yeah. Okay. We talked about it when you and I were walking in here today, right? Yes. Like, you can walk into work one day and think that this is what your schedule is going to look like. You have it all planned out. You have your to-do list all planned out. Yeah. And then something happens and your whole day is turned upside down. And
that could just not be your day. That could be months or years.
Totally. 100%.
And I think that is the part that not every business owner is prepared to face. It's the unknown, and then you're going to get the unknown.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why many businesses even close, because they just give up in the way and they're like, oh no, this is too hard. I'm going to just like stop.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to you.
Okay.
So do you think that you are at the point where you believe that you're happy with your career, this is where you want to stay, or have you ever thought of trying something else at any other point? Any like hobbies or professionally?
Yeah. So I think for where I am right now, I still feel as though I am learning and being challenged every day.
Okay.
So for the time being, I want to stay where I am and down this career path. I mean, that could change at any point, right? Anything could happen, but for the time being, I'm happy where I am.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's rewarding. You know?
Yeah, it is. It is rewarding.
Awesome. And okay, so what do you do for fun? Do you have any hobbies or anything or any interest about, well, I mean, besides basketball and field hockey?
That's, I mean, dancing. That was when I was a kid. So definitely have changed gears in terms of what hobbies are and what I'm interested in. So I mean, I love to listen to music, go to concerts, go out to eat, try new restaurants.
Tried any instruments? No
instruments. It is something that I wish that I did. And I hope that my son will be interested in some type of instrument. Yeah, if I could go back in time, I think I would want to play the piano.
Piano?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I just think it's beautiful and fun. Do you play any instruments?
No.
Okay.
I want to. I love the violin.
Okay.
Violin and piano are my favorite. So yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. So yeah, no instruments. I like to exercise. So my husband and I work out together every morning.
Oh, that's cool.
I never used to be a morning exercise person, but I realized if I don't do it first thing, it's not going to happen.
I feel you there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, it's more fun if you're doing it with somebody. Absolutely. And it's our way of spending time together, which is nice.
Okay. So you have more of a, another motive or motivation.
Yes.
So basically you're doing it with somebody else, but then you're spending time with that person.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then, pre-child, we would go out to eat a lot more than we do now, but we've still been making the time to do that, which is nice. So
Nice.
like trying new restaurants and either here or sometimes we'll drive down to Lancaster when we're visiting our families in Bethlehem. You know, we'll go out to eat there. So yeah.
Tell me more about that. How about motherhood?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was, I bet that changed, you know, your dynamic and
Yes.
all that good stuff. Like,
Totally.
how would you say that it was rocky, or do you feel like it was more like seamless?
Yeah.
Or you were both like in sync? Because you guys seem to be working really well together in the
Yeah.
sense of managing time.
Mm-hmm.
But how did
trying.
that, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's working.
Yeah.
But how do you feel like that affected your career and your personal life?
Yeah. So I think it depended on the day, right?
Okay.
It was definitely a hard transition at the beginning. So I mean, even just from the day we brought my son home, like just figuring out how to care for somebody that needs you 24/7 and balance all the other things around the house. We have a dog. So just figuring all of that out and, you know, realizing our son and our dog need to come before the dishes and the laundry, and like they're living beings, right?
Exactly.
So
It's like, let's start here.
yeah, but communication is everything.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
figuring that out. And my husband was off for a month when I was first on maternity leave, and
Oh, wow,
then
that's nice.
it was very nice to have the help. It went by so quickly, but so we were lucky about that. And I was home for 4 months, which same thing, like it was great, and I know it's better than most maternity leaves, but it still didn't feel like enough time.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel like much.
Yeah, it went so quickly. So the transition back to work was really hard. I mean, I have an amazing team. My manager is awesome, so super supportive in terms of just easing back into things.
Okay.
My son was totally fine. Like when I dropped him off my first day of work, he was all smiles, and
Nice.
I was the one that was upset.
Yeah, it's like-
But it took me a couple weeks to really get back into the swing of things, and I think we have a good routine going now, but it still depends on the day. Like, you know, communication and talking through who has what going on. And because my husband is in the financial industry as well, and so, you know, we both have after work events, evening events, breakfast events sometimes. So just making sure that we're talking through it and that there is coverage from childcare perspective. And so I think we are in a good routine now, but it took us a little while to figure it out. And it's like, I mean, you're a parent, so you understand that once you think you have it figured out, then something changes. Like now my son just started crawling. So, you know, we used to be able to just plop him on the floor and
like
he would just lay there and it would be fine. You could run and grab something or do whatever. We can't do that anymore. So, you know, he has to have eyes on him at all times. So, which is great and amazing, but it's just one more thing to worry about and figure out. So.
And then priority, because it's like, you know, it's a little being, it's just moving around. It's like, what are you doing?
Yes.
And then it's like their job at that point is like, I'm going to hurt myself. So in some way or some shape, way, or form.
Yes, exactly.
And then you just have to keep them out of danger.
Exactly. But I love being a mom.
Oh, absolutely.
It has been the most rewarding and amazing experience. And he is the happiest little baby. And he's easy. Like he's been sleeping through the night since he was 3 months old.
No way.
So yeah, we're very lucky in that regard. But it's hard and it's challenging, but it's really, really rewarding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so nice. And what do you think about what he's gonna do? You're thinking about like sports and stuff like that, probably like mom basketball.
Yeah, my husband and I talk about it. Like it'll just be fun to see what he ends up doing. And you know, we have these conversations where it's like we can't wait to see this or that or the other thing, and then we kind of are like, okay, we need to just focus on the now, and not wish these years away, but we know that it's going to come quick. So just I think we both agree that whatever he wants to do, we will be supportive of, and
Nice.
he's got to figure it out on his own.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
So let's just ask you this. If you had an advice for him, let's say when he's like maybe 15, he's starting basically, he just got out of like going through school. He's going to start his life like you were just experimenting and trying different things. So would you have an advice for someone like that that's starting to come into the world, probably just starting to figure themselves out, who they are as a person? Because I'm saying him, but that could be so many different people, probably somebody listening right now.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for someone like that just starting up their life?
Yeah. I think just be true to yourself. And again, nobody has all the answers, right? Like, it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're starting out or you've been kind of on your own or more independent for 40 years. Like, I think nobody has all the answers. So just be confident in yourself and be kind to people.
Yeah.
Treat others how you want to be treated. And I think that's what matters, right? Like, not what your accomplishments were in your schooling or whatever sports you play or your career. Like, it's all about who you are as a person and how you treat other people.
Absolutely. I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So let me ask you this question. So if we are language, we deal with language. We get to deal with different cultures, different countries, different backgrounds. So if you had a chance to live anywhere in the world, where would it be? However, this is the catch.
Okay.
You don't speak that language.
Okay.
So what country would you pick and why?
Okay. Well, I have a lot of caveats to this.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, I like living here because this is where my family is, right?
Okay. Let's take them. Everybody goes with it.
Everybody's coming with
everybody's
me.
coming with
Okay. To be honest with you, I haven't really been to a lot of other countries.
Okay.
But out of the countries I have been to, Italy would be my favorite because it's beautiful and the food is amazing.
Yeah.
I do not know how to speak Italian.
Okay.
So I know it's cheating a little bit because they do speak English there.
Yeah,
but
I think everyone.
I don't know any Italian at all.
Okay.
So
okay,
that would be my choice.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
How about you?
Me? Good question.
Okay.
I would say I have two actually. I have either Japan.
Okay.
Because I like the culture and like the way that, it's like more of a large community.
Have you
kind
been
of
there?
sense? No, I haven't.
Okay. Okay.
I want to.
Okay.
And Philippines. I've heard a lot of good things about Philippines. Probably
I'm
live there.
Filipino.
No way.
Yeah.
There you go.
So my mom was born and raised in the Philippines primarily. My grandfather was a U.S. citizen, but he was Filipino.
Okay.
So he was in the U.S. Navy. They traveled a little bit, but primarily most of my mom's childhood was in the Philippines. My grandmother still lives there.
Oh yeah.
She's 97 years old, I think now. And so my mom visits her twice a year.
Okay.
I've been once. It's a very long flight.
I bet.
Yes, it is a very long flight, but my mom has it down to a science. So she's going again in August to see my grandmother. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And okay. So
sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, not at all. That's good because actually I wanted to ask that brings me to another just whole set of questions.
Yeah.
So your mom grew up there and you said your dad.
Not my dad.
Like your
so my mom grew up there and her dad.
And her dad. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So and she goes there frequently. You've been once. Wait, I'm from an island. So there's many different aspects of nature that I love. So I like the beach, I like the mountains. So over there, where does your family live? Do
Yeah.
they live like more like towards kind of like a mountainside, more like the beach side?
So my grandmother lives in Quezon City, which
Okay.
is close-ish to Manila.
Okay.
I have no idea if that's close to mountains
Yeah.
or beach.
Yeah.
I do remember when we went, so I was in 3rd grade. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
We did go to the mountains. We did not go to the beach.
Okay.
Beach looks beautiful from
I
pictures.
bet.
But we did not go to the beach. I do remember the mountains, probably more so from pictures and stuff that we have.
Okay.
But I do remember it.
When was this?
So 3rd grade was, I don't know, without disclosing
3rd
my
grade,
age.
okay.
A long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I asked because from the Dominican, the capital is like right by the ocean.
Okay.
So it's like I'm a beach guy.
Yeah.
But then
I
when you
love
go
the
to lunch,
beach,
yeah, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
like I miss it so much.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere, just come out of work and then it's like, beach is like 30 minutes. No, I'm just gonna go have dinner at the beach.
Yeah.
That's like, but then we love the mountains as well because it's just so hot down there.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
mountains is like a little cooler.
Yeah.
But so that's why I think about like the country, and I like to think about the nature around the cities.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was asking.
Yep.
But so you don't speak the language? They speak
Tagalog.
Tagalog.
Mhm. There's a number of different dialects, but that's
Yeah.
the main one. So my mom speaks Tagalog.
Okay.
I do not. She tried to teach my sister and me when we were babies, and she said we laughed at her. So
Hey, it's hard. I can relate. I know how it is.
Yeah. So I'm sad,
Yeah.
and I know it's never too late, but as you can imagine, it's like I don't have the time right now at
Yeah.
this point in my life. But my mom is committed to teaching my son.
Oh yeah.
So,
man. She's like, I'm gonna get this one.
Yeah,
at
she
least."
already got him a book
Yeah.
that
Oh wow.
is in Tagalog, and she watches him every Friday. So
Okay.
once he starts talking, she's gonna try to teach him.
That's beautiful, and just the fact that he can get that exposure to the culture and all that stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So another thing, it's like if I could go back in time, I wish that I would have been more willing to learn. But from my mom's perspective, so in the Philippines, like their goal is to be Americanized. So, when she saw that my sister and I just wanted to learn English, like for my mom growing up, it was like my grandparents wanted her to learn English. So
Yeah, absolutely.
for us, when we wanted to learn English, she was like, okay, then
Go for it.
I'll teach you English. And that was kind of it. But my sister and I both wish that we could speak Tagalog.
And that's something that is not so openly talked about, is the fact that when you are from a different culture, a different country, everybody is focused more on learning English. So some people come to the country, come here, they don't speak English like very well or at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that every person from that country doesn't speak the language. Like, I mean, I learned English. I would visit sometimes here, but I grew up. I was born and raised on the island. I had no wish, thought, or idea that I was ever going to live here. Just life circumstances brought me here. But there's so many different people that want to learn English because there's so many advantages to the fact that you're connected to the world.
Yeah.
So much information out there is in English. So it's like everybody's trying to tap into that.
Yeah.
And then us trying to raise kids in the country, it's a little bit difficult when you have a child that's bilingual, because not everybody has the same skills and not everybody is, so when you are going into a doctor's appointment, for example, they do the hearing test. So the child needs to know the words in English. So if they don't know the words, they might miss them because they know them in a different language, and then
it's a good point.
Yeah, they're thrown off by the fact, and then they get low scores, and it's like, it's not because they don't know it.
Yep.
It's because they just can't speak the language.
Yep. Yep.
So I get what you're saying, and what I did was I just taught them English first, and then now they're learning a bit of Spanish.
Okay.
But it's a conversation that I had like a week ago. I'm like, dude, you gotta learn Spanish. I'm gonna teach you somehow. How do you want to learn it?
Yep.
So we're working on that now because they're taking it in school.
Okay. I took Spanish in school. I can't speak it by any means.
That's the
but
thing.
yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say about Tagalog. It's like you probably have your mom to talk, you know, a little bit, but then it's like if you don't practice it, if you lose it.
Well, and even my mom, like she goes to the Philippines twice a year. She talks to my grandmother and other family members on the phone. And it's interesting when she talks to them on the phone, some words are in Tagalog and some words are in English.
Yeah,
like she goes back and forth. But when she says when she physically goes to visit, it takes her like a day or so to fully get back into it because she never uses it.
Yeah,
like she never speaks Tagalog here because nobody else can speak it. So
I hear you.
Yeah, even though she grew up speaking it day in and day out, like to your point, if you don't use it all the time, you kind of forget.
I'm an interpreter. I speak English and Spanish every single day.
Yeah.
And to this point, I feel like I'm getting more comfortable just speaking English.
Yeah.
So I came here as an adult. I was in my 20s. And I have issues with words now in Spanish. Yeah. Sometimes I can't get the word fast enough.
Yeah.
So it does happen. And I do this every day. So it happens to people, and it's just a muscle that you build. Yeah. But I can completely understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And they probably make fun of her too because it happens to her. So
exactly.
It's like us Islanders, we're brutal.
Yeah.
So, but that's so cool. And I was thinking Philippines is more because of cost of living and things. I've heard that
very cheap.
That's what I was.
So my mom she always says this. She can get a mani-pedi.
Yeah.
They pick her up from my grandmother's house, give her a ride to the mani-pedi.
No, what? No way.
And it includes tip. Okay. And it's like $5.
Sheesh.
It's crazy. The exchange rate is...
Yeah, it's amazing. I used to have that in the Dominican. We still have a little bit, but then it's kind of like silently getting dollarized. Like everything is more expensive.
Yeah.
So when you do the conversion, it's like, oh, but this is the same price I pay in the U.S. for deodorant. Yeah. So, but then it's like people there make pesos. So it's like, it's not adding up.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that because of I keep hearing that more and more, like people actually moving from the U.S. to the Philippines and just living there because it's so much more affordable.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's an adventure too.
$1 can go a long way there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure sounds like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I was meant to speak with
I know. It's so funny.
Well, that's so cool. Let me ask you another question. So, for example, if you could have the opportunity or if you had the chance to have a conversation, any language doesn't matter, with anybody in history or anybody presently, who would it be and why?
Gosh, that's such a hard question.
I know. And then you're so sociable too. You like people. And I know that you probably kind of get those things and you like a little bit about this person and that person. So if you had to pick one, take your time.
Yeah. Somebody famous?
Anybody.
I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, somebody I've never met that I would have wanted to, or I mean, the nice thing is I knew both sets of grandparents. Like if I had a grandparent that maybe had passed away before I knew them, I would probably pick them.
I love the fact that you're so family oriented. It's like every time that I answer or ask you something, you're like, okay, but wait.
Yeah.
My family's here.
Yeah.
Or now you're talking about I asked you if you could just talk to anybody and you think grandparents.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's nice to see.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm very close with my family, always have been. And even like, we're totally going on a tangent here, but
no. This is everything. It's you.
So even like my grandmother in the Philippines, I mean, I haven't physically seen her in a very long time, but you know, just we always would talk to her on the phone. Now we can FaceTime with her.
Nice.
And so like my mom's an only child, so like her side of the family, we've met her cousins and, you know, other family members, but it was, you know, her and my grandparents. And then my dad's side of the family, so my dad is actually one of 10 kids.
Okay. So it's like total
huge
opposite.
family. Yes, huge
Okay.
family. And I mean, same thing. It was like, you know, holidays, and it was just absolute chaos. But it was so much fun. And so I'm very close with my family and a lot of my cousins, and that's just kind of what came to mind first. But I'm trying to think if there's anybody like famous or anyone that I. Can we come back to that question?
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you're putting so much thought into it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
But okay. So let's go back to you.
Mm-hmm.
How, and this is again more for me.
Yeah.
What advice would you give sisters or people that are trying with that family that you're oriented towards?
Yeah.
More like with that relationship, because obviously there was a rocky point, most likely. How did you guys meet at that point? How did you guys see middle ground, and how did you build that relationship that you guys have today?
I think we just started having similar interests just based on like our age. I mean, we grew up, right, like watching the same movies, and my husband always makes fun of us because we quote movies that we watched as kids like over and over and over again. Like, yeah, like The Parent Trap. I've watched that movie a million times. And like Freaky Friday, those are both Lindsay Lohan movies. But like there are just movies that we watched and could probably say the majority of the movie like word for word. So it's things like that we just like grew up, and that brought us close, but we didn't even realize it, right? Like watching a movie, or we had a band. It was horrible, like because neither of us played instruments. It was with our babysitter, and we were called.
Okay, so you had a band with
our babysitter.
So it was like three of you guys?
It was three of us.
Okay.
Our name was the Rashi Roses.
Wow.
I have no idea where that name came from.
How old were you guys?
I was probably like 7 or 8.
Okay.
And so that would make my sister's 4 years older.
Yeah.
Our babysitter was in high school.
Okay.
So like thinking back to that, and again, it's like at the time you don't even realize that like you're creating memories, but you are. And so I think, you know, we built upon all those things, and once we kind of got to similar age groups, so my sister played basketball as well. You know, we started hanging out with each other's friends, going to concerts together, stuff like that. I think it was just a matter of like, we always were close in a way, but it's just that evolved over time just because similar maturity level, similar interests.
So you were saying that basically it's just that you guys naturally just synced up.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I have hope now.
It'll happen.
Yeah?
It'll happen. And I mean, hey, I think it's okay, right? If your kids aren't the best of friends, just hopefully they get along and respect each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like it's that crazy. It's just the fact that sometimes they do get along. Sometimes it's like with the mood swings and stuff. And it's like, they do get along.
Yeah.
But it's more like you would like, I am like you in the sense of I enjoy family and I think that that's priority. Like your family's it.
Yeah.
So with them, I just feel like I've been trying to nurture that, you know, a little bit, but then it's like teenage years come by and it's been, you know, a little hard. And every stage is different. So what we have as parents, and I know that you will see this, is the fact that every stage is different.
Yeah.
So it just happens naturally for them.
Yeah.
You have to adjust.
Yeah.
So you have to change in order to adapt to them.
Yeah.
And that is so hard on a parent
Yeah.
because you feel like you don't even know your child anymore.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like where we are right now. It's like
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to know their interests because there's like different people in a few
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not easy.
So do your kids play sports?
They did cheer
Okay.
at one point. They tried a couple. They tried horseback riding.
Okay.
They kind of had to stop that,
Mhm.
and then it's been more of the digital era after.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like games and
Mm-hmm.
videos and tablets.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I hate it with a
Yeah,
passion.
yeah,
But because I feel like, yes, we are more connected with the world. I mean, you can just be talking with your cousin. They have a cousin in North Carolina, so
Okay.
they just talk a lot.
Yeah.
But it's good that they're connected that way. But the fact that they're behind a screen all the time, it's
Mhm.
like, there's other things that we could be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's been a little bit difficult to get them out of that.
Yeah, I'm dreading that stage and like social media. And so we actually we do not post pictures of my son on social media.
Okay.
I just kind of took the mindset of if somebody wants to see his picture, they can just ask me and I'll text it to them.
True. And then again, it's like if someone needs to, they're close. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously
Yes.
there's trust there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So I just think there's so many weirdos out there
Yeah.
that I know I can't protect him from it forever, right?
Yeah.
Like once he's in school and going to birthday parties and whatever else,
Yeah.
he will be in photos that are posted on social media and I got to get over it. But for the time being, I don't want him on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my husband doesn't even have social media and I have it, but I don't post. Like I once did, but now, I mean, I don't have time to do anything.
Exactly.
But I look, but I don't really post anything. So even if I wanted to, I feel like I don't have time.
I was like, maybe I'll watch in my downtime.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
But it is like that. It's you never know who's looking. You never know what's happening. So it's better.
Scary.
It is.
Scary.
And then you don't want to keep them in a bubble, but guess what? And it's like I always tell them, my job is to keep you safe and for you to have what you need.
Yeah.
So my first job is to keep you safe. If I say no, don't get mad because that's what I'm doing and it's my job.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of get around things.
Yeah.
So I can't complain with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting ride. It's going to be lovely and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I just wish you the best with that. It's going to be, I know that you're going to have so much fun.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been really fun so far. Like I said, hard, but fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they start talking and then they start walking.
Yeah.
That's a challenge there because you have to follow them everywhere.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And he's babbling a little bit, like he's saying dada, of course, dada,
Yeah.
not mama.
It's easier.
I know. That's
Yeah.
what everybody says.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has been really fun. Now, do you have other family here?
Just basically my uncle, but
Mhm.
most of my family are back on the island.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you visit a lot?
So I try to.
Yeah.
I try to. I want to go back eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do you have plans for a visit anytime this year?
probably next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Will you take the whole family or you'll go by yourself?
Just with the girls.
Okay.
I'll go with the girls,
Okay.
and then probably I have my agenda.
Uh-huh.
I have my itinerary, just like just going to the beach most of the time.
Yeah, good.
And then, but then this year is so weird because it's been raining so much. It's been over here like that.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
raining over there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So much.
Awful. It looks like it's going to rain right now.
Yeah. Thunderstorm warning today. No, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Weather.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take up much more of your time.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come here today. I know that you are an extremely busy person,
Yeah.
but the fact that you
everybody is.
I know, but then there are things that you can juggle around, and the fact that you were able to, take some time and then just spend it with us, so we feel very privileged to have you.
Yeah. I feel
So-
privileged that you asked.
Thank you. So we'll be sharing the episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll be sharing it, everywhere. So and I hope you like it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Thank you, everyone.